So when you've got it, that's when it's time to move on. Me right now, I'm going to move on to the final problem. This problem seems simple at first, but has more, some devious things about it. So let's give it a try. Let's take a look. It begins with the equation x squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 18. So we can tell from this that the x is neither plus nor minus, therefore the x value of the center will be 0. Y minus 1 means that the y will be positive 1. And that 18 means that the radius squared will be 18. So we'll go ahead and take the square root of 18 and be sure about that. So you could say 6 and 3, but I think it's a lot better to say the square root of 9 and the square root of 2. The reason for that being that the square root of 9 is 3. Therefore 3 square root of 2 is your radius. So going back, we said that x was going to be 0 and y was going to be 1. So if this is your origin, then x0, y1 is this point right here. And if the radius is 3 square root of 2, the easiest way to do 3 square root of 2 is 3 up, 3 to the right, and we've got it. This is our radius, 3 square root of 2. So now we're going to construct the circle. And what we do, like I say every time, I prefer to rotate the paper. I just get better results that way. I wouldn't make anybody do it that way, but I think it works pretty well. Okay, it's also asking us again for the 4 points. Well, this is clearly one of the 4 points. The other ones are this one, and this one. And as you can tell, in this particular construction, this is clearly where the circle intersects the grid. So I did a really excellent job on this construction, better than my last one. Okay, so it tells us that A is 3, 4. Well, I think that's got to be this point right here, 3, 4. So that's A. B is not given, but C, the x value for C is given as -3, and the x value for D is given as, the y value for D is given as 4. Well, the only other one with a y value of 4 has to be this one, so that's D. And if C has to be -3, then this one here must be C. It's like a little puzzle. And B is going to be, by process of elimination, this one. So we'll figure it out. D is -1, 2, 3, -3, 4. C is -3, -2, and B is +3, -2. Okay, so A is 3, 4, B is 3, -2, C is -3, -2, and D is -3, 4. Last, it gives us E as 6, 6. So we're going to go back to the origin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is E. So now we're going to construct lines ED and EB. Remember, it says lines. So clearly, these are not segments. They are lines. They go beyond the edge points. It's also keen to notice that if they are lines, then they are secants. They are secants and not tangents because they intersect the circle each in 2 places. And they intersect the circle at points F and G. So this point of intersection I'm going to label F. This point of intersection I'm going to label G. So now it says find the measure of angle DEB. Okay, now this may seem tricky at first. Here's D, here's E, here's B. My way of doing it would be to find this angle, actually, and this angle, and then subtract them from 90, because clearly, if you look here, this angle must be 90. Yeah, I told you it's tricky. We're putting pretty much everything we've learned all year into a couple of problems now, so it should be challenging. But would you agree, if we know these 2 angles, then clearly we can find this angle. Does that make sense? After all, we've just subtracted from 90. So let's look at this angle here. Well, what we're going to do is construct a little triangle. This side is 2, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the tangent of this angle is 2 over 9. Well, 2 over 9 converts to 0.22. So we're going to look in the tangent column over here at 0.22. So when tangent is 0.22, I vote for this one. So therefore it's going to be 12 degrees. So that means that this angle here is 12 degrees. Let's find this angle over here now. We create this triangle. This side is 3, and this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be 3 over 8 equals the tangent. Well, 3 over 8 equals 0.375. Yeah, I did that in my head, but yeah, that's the answer. We're going to look up 0.375 in the tangent column. So here it is, 0.375. My vote goes for 0.383. That looks a little bit better than 0.364. So I'm going to go for 0.383, which tells me that it is 21 degrees. So this one here is 21 degrees. So going back to our question says find the measure of angle DEB. So that's this angle, DEB. Well, if this one here is 12 and this one here is 21, we add them together, we get 33. Therefore, 90 minus 33 gets us 57 degrees. So there's DEB, 57 degrees. So I'm going to add that right there, 57 degrees. Okay, now it says find the measure of arc DCB. Well, that's pretty simple. After all, if we look at D and B are a diameter, or a 180 degree angle. Therefore, the arc has to be congruent to that angle. So therefore, the arc is also, DCB is also a 180 degree arc. And last, it says to find the measure of arc FG. Well, that's this one here. So let's think about what we know. We know that if we subtract the big arc minus the small arc and then divide by 2, we'll get this angle. So this is 180 minus arc FG equals 57 times 2. So let's write it out here. We get 180 minus arc FG equals 57 times 2, which is 114. Therefore, FG has to equal 66 degrees. Bingo. We got it. That's it. And that's the end of level 4 for lesson 21. I hope you're able to follow it. I hope you learned something from this. Please review it, watch it numerous times until you're absolutely sure of how it works. Thanks again, and I'll see you in class.